Now, a short word about our modern day innovations, and if they're not bridges, or they're not medical support systems, or they're not something life-saving, then they're really just temporary. And we've got this thing called planned obsolescence, which makes it even worse, because it's like we're planning for the end of life, the end of physical lifetime of a device before we've even created it. And I have a great story here of a friend who was visiting Finland at the Aalto University and was with Teimo Leoninen. And he said to Professor Leoninen, who's very much on participatory design, now why is that brand new Apple computer there in the box, the see-through box on display? It should be out here being used. And he said, well, it's already obsolete. And so that's how we tend to look at technologies. And here I'm showing you rocks, right? Why am I showing you rocks, of all things? Because these rocks took hundreds of thousands of years to form and to weather like this in texture, to have this color come out the way you're seeing there, even though it's quite much sunset at the moment. But these things were not created overnight, right? Even if you do believe that God made the world in like a day. What's important here is for me to show you things that are made to last. And if we're talking about public interest technology, that's what we're talking about, making things to last. It used to be that the things that we used to buy used to last for about 20 years. All of those white appliances. Now we're sort of like, okay, the kettle burnt, well, bad luck, let me throw it in the bin and I'll go and get a new one. They only cost $4 after all. Or if the toner on the ink on the printer runs out, we'll forget about it, we'll just toss it out and buy a new one. Who's going to go to the trouble of ordering new ink? And so we've got to change this mentality, because the e-waste is ending up out there, even though we can't see it, not yet anyway. And while there are poor people in Asia whose countries are being used as dumps for this e-waste, we've got to think about things that last. And I'm not saying innovation in things that last is bad, absolutely the opposite. But you see, economics dictates that you need to keep buying things. Somebody calls it the treadmill of production. And if it is this treadmill because it sort of sustains the economy, they can throw anything out at us and we'll just keep buying. Well, is that really focusing on our values? Is that really focusing on what we really need and what we really want? I mean, the pleasure valve in the head always wants things that give it pleasure. But in actual fact, what do we need is the bigger question. And are we building to this need, or are we just concocting these things to distract us? And all those